And because we're getting better at this, we can talk, mess up the background. Nothing will work at the same time. Oh, Jason, shout out our welcomes, will you?
That was
howdy.
Jason, do it better.
Good morning and welcome to another fabulous Vagabond Nerds, where we go over everything you need to know and should know about the geeky world in which we live and inhabit. We are brought to you today by the infamous Jeremy
Infamous?
Infamous Jeremy over at Titan Comics. Visit him at titancomics.com or go see his beautiful visage in person at 3128 Forest Lane, Suite 250 in Dallas, Texas, 75234. It's in the doobly-doo below. He is our favorite comics monger and purveyor of all the finest geeky accoutrement.
There it is.
Don, we talk to you nerdy because we know you like it.
Just talk nerdy to me.
Oh, welcome to all those who are like us and not at San Diego Comic Con, which started Wednesday night. I got to make it out there just once. Not for. I don't even care if I bought anything. I just want to go for that experience over there. We got some friends that are over there right now. Ben, of course, is over there. Mike, hi to you, because I know you're out there getting every single collectible item you can find.
Actually, is Jeremy out there? Because he usually goes.
Jeremy hasn't gone in quite some time because he loves to be home, and quite frankly, because he's getting older. Sorry, Jeremy. Just tell the truth there. I can't tell you the last time we had a conversation about him going to that, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I would actually say he brought that up to you, or at least the two of you, about 2 or 3 years ago, because we were talking about it at one point.
Yeah.
You had Ray, I think it was either Ray or Jason. One of you brought it up to me. You were like, "Hey, man, we can make it out there one year and do like a show, a show trip where we can go wander around with, one of those stupid sticks with a camera on the end of it and walk around."
Would 100% love to go there as I wouldn't say media. I wouldn't say it's work, Bob. I don't know. You know what? Part of me does. Part of me is now seeing that Dallas is actually getting quite large, and it, being able to see the behind the photos from some of our friends. I'm looking at it thinking, it's a lot like ours already. And I mean, that can be said that every convention is a lot like the next convention that you've gone over, but that doesn't change my want to go there.
Right. You're going for the experience, which is to say, I went to San Diego and I went to San Diego Comic.
Yeah.
That's the reason. You're not just not because it's any better or any worse than some of the other cons that are popping up. And I mean, that thing's been running so long now, and Marvel has been so big now with all the Marvel movie studios. They have so much money to pump into things, and it's so popular. It's no wonder Dallas is building out to be as big. I would absolutely imagine in a couple of years Dallas will be as big as San Diego.
Oh yeah,
it's a huge city, and there's so many people here, and it's a hub. You know what I mean? So people fly in here. Yeah, the weather sucks. It's not San Diego comfort unless it's on fire. But still,
it's a dry heat.
But it's a dry heat.
No, it's not. It is not dry heat here.
So
no.
You.
In San Diego.
It is not.
In San Diego.
We have gone. No, San Diego is amazing.
Calm down.
No, it's a dry heat here. No, it is not.
Jason's very passionate about the sweat.
As two fat men trying to lose weight so it doesn't bother as much. Yeah, you can only take off so many pounds, right? I mean, you can go anywhere naked if you really wanted to. You're not going to go far.
I mean,
but
yeah, you can. But to your point, that you're not going to get far. Somebody will stop you, and I mean, or at the very least, look over and go, "Hey, man," and just wonder what it is you're doing.
It's the catcalling from the ladies. It's really terrible.
That's
it's like
what it is.
It's like, ladies, please stop. If
you drink enough of these, you might end up wandering around naked. This, by the way, I love this one.
pets'
Our
heads
pets-
are falling. Our pets' heads are falling off. Oh my gosh.
That's
I
awesome.
love it. Who makes that?
It's Martin House.
Of course they do. Oh, I shouldn't even asked. I should have been like,
yeah,
"Is that a
I-
Martin
That's
House still?"
funny.
I had one of these the other day, and I was like, man, that was really good. I'm gonna have another. It's Ray. It's like sometimes when we've gone out and we forget.
Mhm.
I forgot this was 8%, and I was just
Mhm.
like, oh man, that was 2. I was like, holy shit, So
What was the last time we went there or went to some place and it was like, oh, by the way, this is 20%. I'll have another. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I better stop at 1 on this.
Yep.
We're gonna do something we don't normally do, and we should. We should do it more often. But
Really?
Be good. Be
comic
funny.
book recommendation of the week.
Oh.
Dark Spaces Wildfire, about 5 female convicts who are working wildfire as part of, for lack of a better term, just part of their service. Doesn't let them get, sentences reduced or anything, but it does get them out of the prison, and just a fantastic read by none other than Scott Snyder. If you are in the DFW area, you definitely stop by Titan, pick it up. It's a good read. Was surprisingly, I was very surprised by it. Definitely grabs your interest first page, and then last page, last panel, you realize what's going on, and you're like, holy crap. So
Did you ever finish Last Ronin? Did you read issue 5?
surprisingly enough, I read this. I haven't read issue 5 of Last Ronin. I almost don't want to, because I know it's going to be over.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's
But
the thing about it.
That's the good part about it, is it's over. Like you get
Yeah.
that.
And then you can once it's over, you can then sort of weigh it and measure it. And I don't want to say anything until you've read it, because I think there's a conversation to be had about the series as a whole.
There are some things you just don't want to end, like John Wick. John Wick 4 trailer dropped.
Well done.
Well done,
Thank you.
sir. Well
Well
done.
Thank you.
Remember, we have to be careful with how many seconds we can show.
I know.
So don't do it too
Thank you,
consecutively.
YouTube and Facebook, for apparently letting only a few of us be able to do this. I do
Absolutely ridiculous. I mean,
Abs-
they have shows where people will sit there and
absolutely love that headshot.
Yeah.
IGN
I saw that.
IGN will sit here on YouTube and play the entire clip and talk about it. No music, no nothing. I mean, sometimes they will. They'll show actually pieces of it and then talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Three idiots from DFW can't show more than like 5 to 10 seconds at a time with no sound and not worry about getting DMC'd. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, it's like we're not
not like we're getting. I was gonna say not like
monetized.
we're making money anyway, but
and that's the point. Like nobody's making anything off of this. It's completely ridiculous that anybody would be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that's copyrighted content, and you guys are using it for your fuck off." There's our one.
Oh, look at that! There's your one for the day.
Actually, no, I'm not sorry. Piss off.
I love the British.
I mean,
dudes
you gotta. So I grew up watching a lot of British TV thanks to my elder siblings. I watched a lot of
and those who sponsor PBS.
And those who sponsor PBS, thanks to them as well. But the young ones and Monty Python, thanks to my dad. And then also, what was the other one? Benny Hill, which is also thanks to my dad, to my mom's chagrin. Because you look back at the Benny Hill stuff and you're like, wow, not in this time. Not in this time.
Nuh-uh.
Nah, no way. Too many sensitive people. Too many people never understand the joke. Not in this time. It's like Blazing Saddles. You just can't.
Yeah.
Oh, movies that will never be rebooted or remade.
Oh yeah. Well, someone even said I forget. Was it? It may have actually. I want to say it was actually an interview with. If not, I just forgot the name of the director. My brain went. Anyway, someone on the production.
Jason McLean, folks. You can find him here at Vagabond Nerds.
Yeah. Anyway. He said, no, we couldn't have even made it back then. We made it because we did. It's like
Mel Brooks.
Yeah, Mel Brooks. Thank you. Okay. It was Mel Brooks who said, he goes, everyone says we couldn't make it now. Like, we couldn't make it back then. He's like, don't you understand how offensive that movie was? It was designed to be. Nobody wanted it, but they did it. It's on the cheap. Like they did that film on the cheap, and It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we had the same pressures. We just did it. Now, the
I
problem
think-
is
True,
people
it's
give
true,
into it.
Jason. They did do it.
No, I think they even went out because they're so in what 1950s Hollywood, 1940s Hollywood, when they were making a lot of big westerns, there were several sets, like full on towns that were towns and facades of towns, a little bit of mix of both, right? But there were towns that were built in the desert for that reason. Just to film an entire movie. They're like, all right, we're going to build a town out here. It's going to be authentic. So I'm pretty certain that they went out to one of those that already was existing from the 50s. You know what I mean? That's just, and they went out and shot it. So it's free location. You don't have to pay for it. They built it, they left it. Yeah. And actually now there's one out there somewhere in Nevada or California or somewhere in the desert. It's actually a tourist attraction. And it's one of those old ones where you can go and you can actually have a bed and breakfast there and sleep over in the saloon. And you're in the middle of nowhere, no AC. So you got to be
like how we are now.
We have AC.
Not when you step outside in this muggy, hot,
anyway,
armpit-filled stench.
All right, no, blah blah. Anyways,
anyway,
they made it for nothing to be able to do that.
Well, and that's the thing. People forget one of the reasons westerns sort of blew up in the early era of filmmaking was back then California was just open space. It was cheap to make. Westerns were cheap. You had some horses, you had some costumes. That's it.
And they did really well.
Yeah, they were cheap to make. They made a lot of money. It was a great combination. People loved it.
I mean,
no, it's not, Don. We're doing that on purpose.
There was a lot of really good stories told in in westerns, and John Wayne was a huge star for it. It was good stuff. Stuff.
No, between those and but isn't that what modern superhero movies are? Aren't we just the next? Isn't that just the next Western?
Well, they certainly aren't cheap to make.
No,
not cheap to make. Very true.
The similarities are different, but that's also, we've come so far from not inflation, but you know what I mean, just general inflation, right? The price point is different nowadays, and the industry is so much bigger that they can afford to do that kind of thing. So if you were to consider it, it's still more expensive than what they were doing back then if we're comparing apples to apples. But the budget is beyond. That's not even the point. To what Ray's saying, I agree. I think it is kind of a trend. It's a fad. Look, at some point, this is going to end. At some point, this big Marvel push is going, and not to say that it is going downhill, but
it's certainly not going downhill.
Listen. Once they finished, and actually, so they did No Way Home, right? And No Way Home with Spider-Man was amazing, but there's been little misses in there after they did Homecoming, and Homecoming was the end of Phase 4, wasn't that the end of Phase 4?
Homecoming was the end of Phase 3. Not Homecoming, sorry. Far From Home. Far From Home was the end of Phase 3.
Far From Home was the end of Phase 3, but Homecoming was the end of Phase 4, right?
No.
No,
Phase 4 started with Black Widow.
Yeah.
It ends with Thor Love and Thunder.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, I think it's even going to encompass. I apologize. Black Panther.
No,
2.
Hold on. But I've got so I've got phases. Like I've got I'm speaking in terms of those box sets that I bought, which are here's the first box set, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the next box set, 5, 6, 7, 8. So when Endgame ended, there was a Spider-Man right after that, and that was what ended that entire series.
That was the end of Phase. That was the end of Phase 3. The box sets you have, Phase 3 was split into 1 and 2.
Because so it's not Phase 4, it's movies. Phase 3, Part 1 and Part 2. Okay,
you got it.
So Spider-Man ends Phase 3. Mm-hmm. I think that everything within 1 to 3 is pretty much the best it was. Good. That was, not only good, it was phenomenal. The way they tied the narrative in, the way we didn't really realize that was coming on, and that's how it was going to be tied in together, and how amazing that was going to be. That whole thing, when they tied it together like that, you get into so many movies, and all of a sudden you start realize what they're doing, and you're just like, okay, is this going to be good? And then they took you on a ride, and it was a ride, you know.
So Kevin Feige recently said that Phase 4, because I think this is a question everyone's asking, what is the purpose of Phase 4?
Yeah.
You've got some good movies, you got some okay movies, and you got great movies, right? Just like most of it. But whereas in Phase 1 through 3, everything was building to something. We knew it early on. And probably with the exception of Iron Man 2 and Thor Dark World, there really weren't bad movies. And I'm not even saying those were bad movies. I'm just saying there wasn't that question mark of when you went out to the theater to go see a Marvel flick, God, I hope this isn't a crappy one. Phase 4, starting with Black Widow, was hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. And I think Eternals, I hope, is their low point. And that's not, again, not trying to slam that movie, but we all know how I feel about it. But I hope that's the low point.
Right.
But I got to say, Thor Love and Thunder, which we, I know Jason and I have seen.
Oh, yeah, we're doing spoiler-free on this.
Spoiler-free on that. To me, that is a high note. And I know a lot of people are bashing this movie, or at least enough to make quite a bit of noise on it.
That's what I've heard.
But Taika Waititi went in, and he told you at the very beginning, I don't want this to be a Thor movie. I want this to be something else. And he delivered that promise. Now, whether you like that promise or not is a different story. But everything he said he wanted to do, he did. And for me, loved it. Loved from the beginning to the last end credit scene. Loved all of it. Are there some forced jokes? Give me a movie where there's not.
It's Taika Waititi. There are some forced jokes on purpose sometimes because they're supposed to be bad. You go, oh, because it's Taika Waititi. That's
part of his shtick. Yeah,
it is. It absolutely is.
And it shows here. And the thing that I loved about it that I told Jason is Marvel third act issues. I don't find it here. I just didn't. For me, I was like,
that's high praise coming from you, because you bitch about that in a lot of Marvel movies.
Yeah,
I mean, I say bitch about it. You still love the movies, but you will point it out as like, hey, this was a glaring flaw.
Yeah. Hey, Missy. But yeah, it was absolutely. To me, it ended where it needed to end. And for those people who are complaining about the lack of certain features, I think what you have to understand is Taika Waititi did something that very few people have done in any comic book movie. They made it about their hero.
Yeah.
And how many times as we all praise and bow to what is The Dark Knight on Christopher Nolan's, second part of his Batman trilogy.
Bowing,
we were
going with that.
Yeah, right. It was more about the Joker, and that's what kind of made that movie. Heath Ledger's Joker made that movie. Here, this is about Thor, and it's a very much a deconstructed look about his issues, right, as a person. And it's again, if you can tell story to me and it's surrounded by action and humor, all day, I'll watch it all day.
Well, those are the best kind of superhero movies, right? Well, forget superhero. Those are the best movies. You're supposed to care about your main character, right? That's sort of the goal, is to make them, there are ways to do it. Again, no spoilers. I've always said I'm not a fan of the Taika Waititi view of Thor, right? Where it's surfer Thor. Like, I'm like, that's
now coming from you, 3 different ways on how to pronounce Taika's last name.
Yes, Taika Waititi.
I don't care.
But I like Waikiki. That's good too.
Waikiki.
I mean,
I will keep changing the pronunciation every time.
Tiki Waikiki.
Yeah.
It's all about the emphasis on the syllable. As long as you get that done, you're fine.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, folks, the show's for us, not you.
No, it's not.
We laugh at our own stuff.
It's not even for Taika Waititi. It's just for us.
Right.
So yeah, I don't like his surfer take on Thor. However, this movie was good. He pulled back a little on it. There's definitely a large chunk of this movie is over the top, but the explanation is there in the movie, and it makes perfect sense. It's done very, it's like he gives you the silliness
of the movie.
within the context of the movie. The silliness makes perfect sense, and then he scales back on the silliness in the real scenes, and he balances it. And my number one complaint from Ragnarok, which again I liked Ragnarok, was that they stepped on the drama with humor. Right? They don't do this in this film at all. Like the drama is allowed to be there, and they don't step on it. The humor, when the humor comes back, it's appropriate and it makes sense. It isn't it doesn't ruin the drama, right? And so I was actually much happier with this one than Thor Ragnarok. I can get why some people don't like it. There's a lot of reasons why. I understand that, but I liked the film. I did. I think this is, I mean, as far as Taika Waititi is concerned, this is one of his better films.
I would say in the Phase 4 plan so far, this has probably been my. I'm gonna lead into the other one as well. This and Miss Marvel have been my favorite.
Well, okay. Differences though, right? TV show. I say TV show. Yep. Show versus movie, right?
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm interested that interests me about this is like, Ray, you mentioned that this was a movie about the hero, which you say it's about Thor. Mm-hmm. Which I find fascinating because honestly, one of the parts that intrigues me the most about this is Gore, the God Butcher, and Christian Bale playing that character. Because from what I've seen from stills of comics, online, it looks like super crazy interesting. The effects that I would think they would have to put together to show his powers with the sword that he wields.
Yeah.
But I also kind of expected him to almost be the focal point, similar to Dark Knight, the way enough would be funny because Christian Bale was the hero in that one, and then he'd be the villain in this one. But anyways,
I couldn't do it without spoiling it, so I won't go into it.
No, don't. Yeah,
I will say very strong opening.
Okay. And I mean, I just meant like this character. Like, how did Christian Bale do in the place?
Fantastic.
He
did fantastic. I think a lot of people's issues with it is there's not. Well, and I'm not spoiling anything. This is what they've said. They felt that they wanted more of his character.
They wanted more gore.
Yeah, they've come out with it and said, there's like there's a version of this that exists at 3.5 hours. This is actually a short movie.
Yeah.
Was it what is it? Is it 180 minutes or something?
Like just over 2 hours. Like
really?
just on the and that's like from start to end credit.
Yeah.
Right. It's just over
surprising.
2 hours.
That's very surprising.
But it's exactly what it needs. I don't want to see another hour of this movie. This is exactly what it should be. And I think that's part of the problem. We keep getting grander and grander in scale, which is fine. I don't mind, right? But at what point do you say, okay, switch that over to Disney Plus, right? I think, again, Miss Marvel being a really good example of that. Fantastic as a series. I don't know how you would pack all of that into a 2-hour movie or 2.5-hour movie. But 2, it works better in that format. So,
yeah, it had a very good and not, this isn't a slam, but it had a very good WB pause vibe where you get to the end of an episode and it stops and you're like, I can't wait for the next one, but you have to wait. And building that anticipation, I think, was also part of what made it so good, is that it did have spots where it paused and it went. And I mean, it was, Hawkeye was heartwarming in a sense. You know what I mean? You get to see his character being him and just see what he's dealing with as a human who's been ravaged by all these supers that he's around, right? And then, this one was kind of a similar thing, but you get to see her growing up and dealing with her family and dealing with being a female in this world in this Muslim world and growing up in her religion and just the struggles of a patriarchal society and a matriarchal. I mean, because her mother was everything. Like, she comes down on her a lot, and that's a big struggle.
Which isn't that a strong finish? Talk about a character earning her comic book outfit.
Absolutely.
And how it was done. Fantastic.
Oh, this was, if I mean, it was like they had John Hughes backstage writing it with them.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was really good. I enjoyed Ms.
Yeah.
Marvel a ton, way more than I thought I was going to, and it was a strong finish.
Mhm.
I don't feel like there was a lot of filler in any of the episodes.
Had no right to be as good as it was. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that right
Yeah.
now.
No, I agree.
didn't. It really
that's
didn't.
true.
Yeah.
That's
Right?
true.
You're talking about a third.
it came.
Yeah.
It came out. It just came out swinging, man, and it surprised the hell out of me. I think it surprised a lot of people because it's a very good show.
Well, it avoided a lot
That's
of
one I would watch
yeah.
again. You know,
it avoided a lot of tropes that I was
Mhm.
expecting, right? And
did.
Jason
but
loves his tropes.
I do love my tropes. But I was like, okay, I had the back of my head like these are things that I was expecting them to do that would have ruined it, and they didn't do it at all.
Looking at you, Moon Knight.
And Captain Marvel, they everything felt earned. Again, everything you said, everything in Ms. Marvel felt earned, right?
Mhm.
She made mistakes. She went through the hero's journey. That's I mean, at the core of a superhero story is the hero's journey, and she acted well. She felt sincere. Looking at you, Brie Larson. You know,
You're gonna have to let that go.
it's not my fault that
You're
she's
gonna
a
have to let that
cardboard
go.
cutout. It's not my fault she's a cardboard
Dude,
cutout.
I could let it go.
But yeah, no, like I said, it was great, and even someone made this comment. Both the end of Ms. Marvel and the beginning of Love and Thunder, we get the best versions of the Captain Marvel costume and Thor's costume, and now they're probably gone forever. The end shot of Captain Marvel was.
Keep going, Jason.
I'm in my villain story. What are you talking about?
I like Missy's existential. Let's pause a moment and think about things. That is also, you know,
we don't do that here.
Get your head out of the reunion, Missy. That is a question. That is a question you ask everybody at their high school reunion. Come on now.
Yeah,
we don't do that here.
Yeah, we don't do that here. No, but yeah, but to your point, the show was earned. It was sincere. The act, you know, I do have some comments about about the origin of Ms. Marvel's powers. That's an entire conversation unto itself.
I don't even care about that. Like, I don't care. That to me, that was not central to the story.
I agree.
It's not.
I think there's a lot more room that there's more wiggle room with newer characters that they should be able to take.
No, I don't have a problem.
Okay.
So
as far as creating new origins and even changing their powers a little bit to make it fit.
It doesn't bother me at all.
Because I know that her powers aren't. I mean, they're not the same as from what apparently they are in the comic books, right? It's more in the comic book. She has like actual stretch powers, right? Like I like Mr. Fantastic.
And well, sort of similar. Yeah.
Similar, sort of. Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah. No, they did her powers much better in this. This is. Yeah.
I mean, but let's be honest. They did her powers this way because they don't want to step on Mr. Fantastic whenever they
don't want to do that. And this makes it more. I felt like this power, the way they represented it, made it more it fit the narrative. Like these beings coming from this other dimension. This is a more interdimensional. It looked more interdimensional to me. I thought it was more.
Well, it gave her. I'm sorry. Let's be honest. The whole the nature of her powers in the comics just would look ridiculous because it's not just that she stretches. It's like she gets giant hands. I mean, even in the comics, I think it's stupid looking. Like she, it really is just absolutely terrible visually. And so this is the thing I was going to say. I don't have a problem with them making her a mutant. Like that's the thing is they're saying she's a mutant. That's what's happening here, which is fine. It is an inside dig, right? About because there was a lot of behind the scenes fighting about the whole Inhuman thing. Kevin Feige, I forget the other guy. The other guy wanted to bring in the Inhumans. There was this fighting. So it's like, and again, Marvel Comics actually tried to get rid of the mutants, basically, and make the Inhumans the new mutants for the Marvel universe because Fox owned the X-Men at the time. Now
Fox owned the mutants, yeah.
Exactly. So they were kind of working on that. And so it just feels like a big slap in the face to that guy behind the scenes, because they even said they based Ms. Marvel's powers not on her, but on an X-Men character called Armor. Right?
Yeah, but let's go back to the point being is that this was a hell of a show.
Yeah, no, it was
We
good.
could-
Like you said,
To your point, we
it's-
could go down that rabbit hole and never come out at all.
The quick little dig about her being mutated at the
Yeah.
end, I mean, like that kind of thing. Talking about bringing in mutants. I mean, Marvel's been talking about bringing in mutants for ever since they acquired it, but before they acquired Fox.
Yeah.
So now that they have those rights back, I find it fascinating, which apparently leads into the fact that somebody released stills of X-Men 97,
yeah,
which is going to be mutants, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, obviously, it's the continuation of the Fox show from the 90s.
Yeah.
That's so. But what I love the fact is, and you're sitting there setting me up to put a picture, and I don't have it.
I was watching the thing.
I was sitting there like scrolling. I'm like, I can't find this picture.
Slowly I went when I led into it. I was like, let me give him some time.
But I was thinking the same thing. Like, I can see he doesn't have it up ready. He's not.
I don't.
He can't
Not
do
at
this.
all. At all. Thank you guys, you jerks.
Would you like me to talk about Maverick while you look that up?
You know what? Do a little thing on Maverick. Was it like Top Gun?
Yeah, it was like Top Gun. Yeah.
Thanks for your review.
I did hear that the shots, camera shots, the ones at the bar, were
those are good too. Though.
Were very impressive.
They are.
And that also this doesn't as much feel as a nostalgia trip back to when Top Gun came out, as much as a new, but like a sequel, but a new movie.
Yeah. And no, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
And like a timely movie in that respect. It doesn't. I would say it doesn't have any of the same tropes that the other movie had, but I already saw that they were playing volleyball somewhere, or something to that
football.
effect.
But yeah,
they were playing football.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's the same. It is the same scene. Like there are. I mean, the movie is full of homages and nods to the original, and it's called out specifically because that is. But the way they do it is very different. Again, I want to be spoiler free on this. They do it in such a way that it's meant more as, Tom Cruise's character.
I can feel you getting ready to spoil something.
No, I'm just saying
my Jason alarm is going off.
Well,
but
we've seen the previews, and I know that Tom Cruise's character is there to teach these kids how to fly.
Right. Yeah.
Because everybody's been relying on drones and autopilots and computers and all this stuff, but Tom Cruise is the hotshot pilot who's not going anywhere because he's Maverick, and he's like, no, man,
I just have this image when we're talking about autopilots and drones or whatever, and then Tom Cruise stepping into like a Tesla trying to fly the damn thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't.
Okay.
No clue, but I can see it going.
So that's the movie. As far as I know, the movie is him trying to show these kids that it's like, hey, I can beat you any day simply because I'm a human and I can overcome these machines.
Yes. Well, sort of. Yeah. That is an element of the film.
I mean, that's like a big. That's the bond between him and these cadets is the idea.
Right. It's saying, hey, I can show you how to do something.
Right.
Yeah, because you're even though that you are the best of the best, you're still relying on the technology.
You have a crutch.
More. Yeah.
And you could be better if you didn't have that crutch.
Yeah.
Did you like it? Yes or no?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was, again, to Sean's point, it doesn't.
And you're not
feel like
really quick. You're not a Tom Cruise fan, are you?
I mean, I'm not a Tom Cruise fan.
I'm out of the closet, Tom Cruise.
Yeah. I mean, I again, like anything else, I'm not.
I love that South Park episode.
That is great. Yeah. Although I will say he's owed an apology.
My wife can't stand Tom Cruise.
Really?
I think that's part of the reason we're not going to here. I'm going to wait till it's on whatever service it's on, and we'll rent it for a few bucks or whatever. But yeah, we're probably not going to see it in the theater. I'm hoping to go see Thor in the theater, but it's just life. This is that time of year where everything is so busy.
I'll tell you, I didn't know. I didn't know how I was going to feel. Like, I thought to myself too for a minute, like, man, Thor, I'll just watch at home. But having seen it not only in the theater but in 3D, I was pretty impressed by the visuals.
Wait a minute, Ray, don't you have a home 3D theater?
Yeah, but I don't have access to Thor. Well, not 1 through, not this one.
I just meant that it's funny. You're like, I was going to see it in the theater, but I saw it in the theater, not only in the theater, but in 3D, which is exactly what I have at my house.
Yeah.
So Keanu Reeves was at Comic-Con yesterday for the
Oh
Berserker
yeah,
panel.
let's change the subject.
The sword's
No
not.
problem. No problem. Yeah. Why don't you lower that drawbridge and get out of your look, and we can just talk about this.
I'm trying to, but you won't let me, you bastard.
Yeah, no, Maverick is honestly something that, you can watch it on your, at home on your big screen, but it was a good old fashioned classic just film, and I loved everything's not everything, but the practical effects are amazing because they actually are like they do have the camera where they actually do fly real F-18s.
Yes,
like they are actually flying them.
It's amazing. It's
yeah,
amazing. And I saw one of the actors was on one of the late night talk shows that I caught one night, and they were asking her about that whole sequence, and she was talking about her experience with Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise was telling everybody on set how they were going to do it, and he said, "Look, we have to have real planes." He goes, "I don't know how to do it any other way. It has to be real planes." He's like, "We're going to fly these things. There's no other way to do it. That's the only way to make this movie." Yeah. And everybody else was like, "But we could, but what if?" And he just, no, we have to make it this way. So
hats off.
And it pays off.
I
really
was going to say hats off to that for him really going all out. This talk about a man with 9 lives, like ridiculous, but Alf. But it's whenever you see that lack of CGI, there's a lot to that, and especially with horror movies.
You can feel it when you just it's more it's tangible. It's there.
Which is why Vecna in Stranger Things 4 season 4 worked so well.
Not
That's CGI.
Right.
Practical effects are underrated.
Very much so.
It's so easy to the theme of Maverick. Hollywood relies so much on the technology because it's quick and easy. You don't always get the best product, right? You miss that human interaction. Like a lot of complaints about Thor 4 was that Gore is not comic accurate. And I was like, okay, but you got Christian Bale playing Gore. You kind of want it to be Christian Bale. However, again, there's some really good reasons why him not being comic accurate is actually good for the story. But more specifically, it's just so much different to see Christian Bale, the human being, just made up with some makeup and not a lot of it. They just skin and some skin paint and some
those big eye contacts.
Yeah, the contacts. It's like it's like some of his stuff, like he'll have scenes where he'll have, it's not blood, it's literally the black of the sword oozing out of his mouth. It's like it's different. You can see him and you're like, it's a human being acting, and you get those nuances that you don't get with CGI. It hits different. The same way you have these people actually flying real F-18s, it hits different visually and emotionally. They're not acting like they're pulling G's. I mean, they're not pulling the actual, the G's. They're not doing 9 G's.
They're not doing the number, but still the effect on their body, you can see from the G's that they do pull is believable enough where you're like, oh shit, they're really doing that.
Can you imagine being the actor who thought, okay, I'm just going to sit in this cockpit with the green screen, I don't have to worry about that, and then they tell them, by the way, you're going to have to learn how to fly these things.
Yeah. Or at least ride,
or at least ride shotgun.
Shotgun, for somebody while they're flying it for you, but you're in it, and we're just going to make it look like you're flying it.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I'd be like, well, that was a wasted trip. You can just fly me back home. Thanks.
Okay, and it's not a spoiler at all. My favorite little nod in Maverick.
Easy now.
No.
You see it in the trailer.
I don't care.
You see it in the trailer. So this isn't a spoiler. The experimental aircraft that he flies at the very beginning of the film, that's in all the trailers. We see it very specifically. The design, I loved it. And when it's being fueled and it's sitting on the in the tarmac, you see the dry ice smoke everywhere, right around it, because it's a scramjet. They went to the detail pointing out that they don't even mention it, but that detail's there because they're having to use liquid hydrogen as part of the fuel for the scramjet. It is those attention to details
right
that they do in this film that you're like, that is brilliant. I'm a big fan of the Aurora Project, which is the theoretical or the hypothetical project they were doing to replace the SR-71. And this plane is a beautiful sort of homage to, it looks like it's something, it looks like it's in between what people have been drawing on Aurora and the SR-71. I loved it. That was my favorite part, one of my favorite parts of the whole movie.
So
do we have that picture of Magneto, Ray? Have you found it?
Did you ever find that?
I did.
Because we've given you like 10 minutes.
I'm not going to do it again, though. Jason, you talking is giving everybody 20, 30 minutes. That doesn't help.
No. He's doing fine. You asked us to talk. We talk.
Shut up.
We talk. Now,
we're reviewing an entire other film.
No,
Ray, what's up with you?
So this 97 X-Men bit, right? But let's see this. What do you got, Ray? I want to see it.
He still doesn't have it pulled up behind the screen.
Okay, you said you have it. Where is it?
I got it. Hold on.
It doesn't look like you have it. It doesn't look like you have it.
He doesn't have it. It's not. I can see it in real time. He doesn't have this.
Ray, the policeman would have broken your window by now. You did not produce what they were requesting. What do you got, buddy?
There you go.
No.
And you didn't think I had the 97 X-Men.
I can see it in real time, Ray. So where's the picture of Magneto, Ray? Where is
that? Was
what you got?
That was anticlimactic. Let me tell you.
There you go.
That was
would you like me to pull it up, Ray? I can pull it up real quick.
So speaking of things that Jason hasn't watched, Stranger Things season 4. Sean, what did you think about it? You finally finished that up.
I did finish it up. How do I say this? Good. I liked it. I'll start off that way, right? It was a really good season. This season, oddly enough, not only redeemed season 3, I also feel like it makes season 3 better. If that makes sense.
We had this very same discussion, not you and I, but me and my daughter.
I really. Oh, so that's the picture of Magneto over there with the big M?
Thanks.
Okay.
Oh, good. You put it up before I was right. Here you go. Here we go. I'm loading the screen over here. This is actually what I wanted to show.
Jason,
hold on.
Shut up. We're talking about this now. So go ahead, Sean. What were you saying about season 3?
No. Keep talking.
I'm right now watching Rocket and Quinn fight over control of the freaking Quinjet. Will you two knock this shit off so we can talk about it?
Hey, I was just putting. I wasn't going to say anything. I was just pointing out that I found this in 30 freaking seconds while he had 10 minutes. And just saying, that's what he's looking like.
Missy, what pics is Jason sending you? I don't know if you should be posting that on Facebook. Where is Jason? Put him back up there.
Hey, he's running this thing. I don't know what he's talking about.
It off. Nerd fight.
Nerd.
So that's interesting that you had that conversation.
And it was.
It really does feel like it redeems season 3. It makes season 3 better, having watched season 4.
Season 3, it very much comes in that realm, but it did feel like it was more of the setup for season 4, so that when you go back and watch it in order, you're like, that makes more sense now. Or at least it feels better. It completed storylines that had started there.
I will say this though about that topic, about the idea that season 3 feels like a setup for season 4. I don't think they planned that.
I don't think so either. I think
season 3. No, not even during it. I think season 3 was such a miss. It was. I mean, let's face it. We all three of us did not like season 3 at the end of season 3. We were like, it lacked this, it lacked originality, it lacked that. It was just kind of blasé, there were some really neat parts of it, but it wasn't season 1. And it definitely wasn't season 2, even though season 2 wasn't as good as season 1 either. Look, they were getting progressively worse. Season 4 comes back and season 4 takes us back to season 1, in my opinion. It has
not only
that feel.
To your point, each episode was getting better and better.
Each episode was getting better.
I didn't feel like a filler episode in any of the season, and I also, with as long as the last 2 episodes were, didn't feel it. You know, it was like, oh my god, I can't wait to finish this up. But
yeah,
and I also, I didn't think they were going to end on the Empire Strikes Back ending, where it's like, oh crap.
So no spoilers, right?
Yeah.
How about that? But even then, like, I don't know that it was an Empire Strikes Back ending. It's close, but again, like, there's a comment in there about. I don't even know if I could say it. I can't say it because I think if I say it, it's going to spoil the whole thing. Anyways, one of the characters said something. You feel like it's been out long enough?
Yeah, go ahead. Spoiler in 3.
Jason hasn't seen it, have you?
Jason won't watch Stranger Things.
You're not going to watch this, Jason?
I'll watch it eventually, but it's fine. I don't care.
He doesn't. That's why he dropped spoilers, because he himself doesn't care about spoilers.
Okay. So when yeah, I don't know about that. So when Mike says to one of his to Will or somebody, he's like, she's not used to losing. When he says that, I kind of disagreed with that, because I'm like, you didn't lose. You did save somebody. I mean, yeah, you didn't win the way you thought you were going to win, but you still saved somebody. You still won. You have to understand that there's many different degrees of winning and losing, even though this isn't like everybody gets a participation trophy, but there are different degrees. If you're going for a certain thing and so for instance, if you're
attempted to kill a demigod, there you go.
If you're in a battle with somebody, or you're fighting for something, if you're fighting for something, right, and you achieve that something, but that something is still lost because you didn't win the overall fight, you won the battle, and that's the point, right?
Yeah.
This is one battle in amidst many, and so so I think she won the battle, and I think that's really what counts. Is they said she lost, and I'm like, no, Vecna even says it. This is just the beginning. Yeah. He says, you think you've won. And that's the point. She did. She won that battle, but she doesn't see it that way. And
talk about an 80s use of music.
All right, Donald, you're good.
Just an 80s use of music?
80s use of music during this. And to that, I hate this term because I know it's probably appropriate, as they are now coining dad rock, and it's all of our stuff from the 80s and early 90s.
Oh, God. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which, pisses us off.
We see. Pisses me off.
But gotta hand it to Stranger Things 4 and Thor. They both had an abundance of it, and I was all for it. Anytime you have good music.
And thanks to Stranger Things, obviously Kate Bush is back in the top,
right?
Like the top 10.
Side note: did you hear how much she earned from everyone looking for her music?
No, I didn't. But what I loved about this is that I saw one of those memes, and it's Kate Bush holding like 3 Grammys or whatever. She's holding up 3 different music awards. And it's got, the meme is all these people just finding Kate Bush and boosting her into the top 10, and then below that, it's like Kate Bush loving the income, still remembering being in the top 10 when she was big. Like the fact that this is nothing new. Like she was there once and it's great. She's been boosted to it again. But people talk about it as if Kate Bush was never a major hit and never a major star. She absolutely was. And that's what people miss.
Well, it goes same to the generation when Eminem was utilizing, I think, Elton John or whatever. And they're like, man, Eminem's going to boost this guy's career. Just watch.
Yeah.
And even Eminem is like.
No, it was Paul McCartney.
No. Paul McCartney, that's right.
But it was
Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And
it
Kanye.
Was Paul McCartney and Kanye.
Yep.
And they're like, I don't know who this Paul McCartney is, but he better be super thankful for Kanye for boosting his career.
Yeah.
McCartney's got to be going. Who's wanting to do a deal with me? Who's Kanye?
McCartney was like, who's
McCartney's
Kanye?
like, who's Kanye?
Well, Post Malone did the same thing. They did the same thing with Post Malone and Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just look
my
at
fucking
facts.
camera.
But I will say though, Kate Bush, the estimated thing. Sean, did we lose your volume or just your picture?
Just the camera.
Okay. Kate Bush's estimated sales and money off just Stranger Things season 4, 4.3 million.
Jeez.
Jesus.
Just from her song being utilized. 4.3 million.
Jesus.
Not bad to have.
Yeah, not bad.
And then some small band called Metallica. I think they got some shekels too. Who knows?
Yeah. I did see there was the dude who managed to learn Master of Puppets in like 2 weeks from the moment it was released to the time he used it to save the world. It's 2 weeks.
Well,
time.
I love the other one that says if the Upside Down is the past, then technically Eddie Munson, who's the character from Stranger Things, played Master of Puppets first. So just little bitty nods like that.
Yeah.
It always makes me chuckle. This came out yesterday. So the Walking Dead movies that were supposed to be starring Rick Grimes, those are done. Instead, we are going to get another series with Rick and Michonne.
Okay.
Michonne?
Yeah. What do we think? Screen of just a person and head?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just listen. I stopped watching not Stranger Things. I stopped watching the Walking Dead in like season 2. They were still in the prison, and I just couldn't watch it anymore. It was terrible at that point, and I was just
they're in the prison. That was season 3.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Season 2 was the farm.
Yeah, season 2 is the farm. Season 3.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. They stay on the farm. They kill John Bernthal, and then from there they move on to the thing.
Yeah, they move on to the Well, so I think there were 2 seasons with the prison, but yeah, I'm like Sean. I was out of I was out after season 3 because it's like, okay, I get where we're going. Like we're doing the same thing.
Oh, we lost him.
We lost him.
Well, come back, Magic 8 Ball. Come back.
Yeah, come back. It's I tried to watch a couple other episodes after that, like when they were in the city, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I get the gag. It's like, hey, we've got new people. We're gonna tear them apart so they die terribly. Okay.
I actually read this series. So I got no. You stopped about midway through. Yeah,
I stopped after the prison.
Same thing, right? I went all the way through to the end. And I got to tell you, much like the comic book, started getting just a little bit repetitive because there's only so many stories you can tell. Like I started feeling the same way. So for me, I lasted till Negan.
A lot of people lasted till Negan. Yeah. I heard a lot of things when Negan came on. A lot of people left actually. But then a bunch of people joined at that point, and they're like, "Oh, Negan is amazing," and they loved that story arc.
Yeah,
And Negan as a character in the book, not overly great because it's Negan as Jeffrey Dean Morgan's playing him, but more. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing him is what makes that character.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. That's what I was because Jeffrey Dean Morgan is a fantastic actor, and the fact that he came out and played that character is really what sold it. It's not the fact that Negan was there; it's the fact that Jeffrey Dean Morgan was there.
You got it.
Yes, yeah. And there's some actors who make a character. And to Missy's point, I actually did read the stuff with a lot of the stuff with Negan, so I knew what was coming. And I've seen it, and I've watched a few of the episodes with Negan in it. And to your point, yes, he makes the character, but the character is written a little differently. I mean, not by much. Like it, I do think it's David. Oh, calm down, little dog.
It's your little lap dog. I love it.
Yeah.
No, I think to everyone though, it is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Absolutely was fantastic.
Yeah.
Come here, Ellie.
His ability to highlight a character's, just the low and high points. I mean, the one episode they had where it was his background story, which was actually just like last year, I think. that episode alone, I don't know if
Yeah.
it was, but it should have been an Emmy nomination because his
Yeah.
just everything about why Negan is Negan was all built in that one story, and it was just fantastic. And yeah, his actual wife played his Negan wife in that
Yeah.
series, and it was just that episode. If you never watched another Walking Dead episode, watch that one. Just because again, it gave so much background and it played it up so well.
The earliest, and this is probably shitty because I'm sure Jeffrey Dean Morgan's been around longer, but the first thing I remember him in is The Losers. And I know he's been around for a long time. He's been around for longer than The Losers, for sure. And I would probably, somebody would point out, oh, he's in this movie, or oh, he's in that movie. I go, oh shit, that's right, I remember he was in that.
Yeah.
But seeing him in The Losers and watching that, which again, in my opinion, a very highly underrated movie.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And comic book movie. Like entirely. It's an amazing film.
With three or four different actual gone on to do more comic books.
Gone on to do more movie. Well, I mean,
we got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. We've got Chris Evans.
And then what's her face? I can't remember her name.
Well, Heimdall is in it.
Heimdall is in it as well.
I forget his name. Yeah, Idris
Elba.
Yeah.
Yep. And
but what's Zoe Saldana?
Zoe Saldana. Thank you. Yes. So that's at least four.
Yeah, I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that movie was extremely underrated. It was just so extremely underrated.
It's a fantastic movie.
Oh, the bad guys. The bad guys. Weren't they in?
Oh no, he wasn't in any Marvels that I can think of.
Well, it doesn't have to be Marvel, but
any of them. Yeah. That was it. I know who you're talking about, but that was it.
Okay. But you see him in everything else, so. Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, it was a good movie. Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, he's an amazing actor. I don't think he gets enough work, or maybe he does, and I'm just not following it. Either way, he's a fantastic actor. I really like what he does.
Well, I think Jeffrey Dean, to Missy's point, Supernatural was sort of his big break, where he was the father, and then sort of sprung him into The Losers, which then got him into these other, Watchmen and all the others. But yeah, he doesn't get enough roles for as good as an actor as he is.
I saw somebody post side-by-side pictures of Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Robert Downey Jr. and they were like, "Are you sure they're not related?" And then somebody below that posted, they were like, "Fan theory: what if Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Tony Stark's long lost brother, and he's actually the father of Dean and Sam. He's the father of Dean and Sam, which explains why Dean can fix anything, and Sam has all this technological insight. They were like, "Oh my God, this makes so much sense." This stupid. But I was like, "That's cute. I like that. That's nice."
All that to sit there and say, I think Andrew Lincoln is going to be doing something with it. I'm glad they didn't do a movie. I'll tell you that much. I'm glad that they're not doing a movie.
I think they should not do a movie. I think they missed that train a long time ago.
Yeah,
I think they could have made a movie after season 2. After season 1 or 2, you could have made a movie and just ended it, and had that as your swan song out and just be done. But again, studios the one thing, have to make money, so they're like, well, I can make money off of this until I milk it dry. So let's just wring this thing out like a washcloth until all the talent is exhausted, and then we'll let everybody go.
Hi, Disney.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my gosh. So DC and Marvel Hall H's are today. It's probably going to be around 1:00
Pacific time.
Yeah, right. But you'll start hearing that.
Speaking of zombie things that should end, Resident Evil on Netflix. Just skip it.
Okay.
Actually, no. Let's do this. Watch the first 3 episodes to remind yourself how good the movies are.
So you actually got 3 episodes in?
Dude, I'm on episode 5, actually. It's terrible.
I got 5 minutes in and said, I can't do this.
The acting is
I'm watching the Vinland Saga.
The acting is atrocious. Now,
it's so bad.
if they had good, and this is the bad thing, is because Lance Reddick, who is the dad in this, I love him. He's been in so many good movies and shows. Lance Reddick could do better, and I really think that if they have a great premise, I really like the idea behind the story. There are some pieces of it that are, to Jason's point, like just normal tropes, and it's like, I don't care that you're a vegan. Don't go into the huge corporation that deals in government contract. Lose the fluffy bunny. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid. You're stupid, and you deserve what you got. Anyways, those things happen in this, but seriously, if they had better actors, and maybe it's not actors, actually, maybe it's the direction. That could be it. Maybe it's just the directors are not pulling what they could out of these people.
I tried. I couldn't.
If they had better actors or a better acting ability or just better whatever, it would be good. Right now,
Sean, this is what you're saying. If only they had a better director, a better script, better actors, and a better movie, it probably would be pretty good.
Yeah, but entirely different production company, perhaps a different director.
The idea is there.
Yeah, no, listen, I think this is easily something we could have written and put together. It's easy, but it could still be good if it was done properly. And that's the problem. It's not done properly.
So here's the problem, Sean. That's literally everything that's ever been made that's ever bad. It's like,
that's not true.
There are some premises that are just bad, but Ben is real good at pointing at Ben Dunn, again, friend who's currently over at.
Ray will argue every day about how horrible Hellboy is, any iteration of it, and how it never could ever be any good.
Yeah, so, he's wrong. But the simple fact of the matter is, almost any character can be done. You can do anything well, but the problem is you do have to do it well. So, it's like, again, to your point, they had a new script writer, they had a new director, new production company, completely different actors. Yeah, it's
anyways. Go watch the first few episodes.
There's an alternate universe where this is a good show. Is what I'm
how good the movies are, because the movies are fantastic compared to this.
What I want to do is I want to drop those people griping about Halo, and I want to force feed them the show. It's just it's a hard watch.
Missy's got a pretty good point, Jason.
Okay, I'm not saying I didn't say everything. I said almost everything.
You said everything.
You said that's everything.
Everything.
You're like, every bad movie that's ever been is exactly what you just said.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
Yes, it falls in line. Anyway.
Okay, so there's one. There's the one.
Ray's got a hard stop, from what I understand.
Yes, I do.
We gotta wrap this up.
I will tell you the movie I'm wanting to see this weekend, and I know I won't be able to, is Nope from Jordan Peele.
Dude, I wish. Yeah, I know. That looks really good. Again, I'm gonna have to wait till it's out.
Same thing here.
We don't go see him in the theaters anymore. I mean, I'm gonna have to wait. So
the other thing that I'm looking forward to is they actually had a preview night for Prey at Comic-Con, the new Predator movie, and everybody came out saying, "Yeah, this reminds us of the first one." So I cannot wait. Yeah, I'm like, can't wait for that. That is gonna be on TV.
We gotta circle up and talk about that one. One other thing I will say is, while I was on the flight to London, I actually got to watch Morbius.
How was it?
I have a hard stop, and I want to hear this.
Holy shit, that was horrible.
You know what, Sean? If only they had a different director.
If only they had a different director and a different script and a better cast and everybody. Dude.
The cast was amazing. The problem is they just didn't have anything else.
The whole movie felt forced, completely forced. It was like when someone says, "Are we really doing this?" I'm like, "No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine." It's like the director was hyped up on cocaine from the '80s, right? So it was Stephen King directing Maximum Overdrive. And he was like, "It's gonna be good. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. Let's just keep doing it."
With a touch of over the top.
Dude, it was just so bad. I mean, I like Matt Smith, and I like
Jared Leto.
For Christ's sake, Jared Leto, and the actress, and I forget her name too. I've seen her in other things, but I like her as well. Like the main cast, the main characters, I like them. But just this
movie made me say, Eternals. not that bad.
Okay, I want to put we got to put a pin in this because you do have that hard break, but I do want to come back to next
Yeah,
episode.
I tell you what, maybe not next episode, but maybe the Halloween episodes. We're going to discuss Morbius. We'll review Morbius.
Well, no, I don't want to review Morbius. I like Sean's ideas. Like, well, the movie felt forced because I think there's an entire conversation there.
I might just put Morbius up as the horror film for the Halloween party this year.
Don't do that to us.
It's a horrible film.
Oh my goodness!
Meets the definition of horror. It'll be fine.
Really does.
That is
true.
Jason.
Yes,
you
Ray.
Want to start signing us?
Sign us out, sir.
Goodbye, everyone. Fine. Can't put this bullshit. We appreciate you coming here, and I don't know why you put up with it, but you do, and we love you for it. Please go visit Titan Comics at titancomics.com or at 31284 Forest Lane, Suite 250 in Dallas, Texas, 75234. Say howdy to Jeremy. Buy some things. Like the comic Ray suggested earlier. Or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Last Ronin. All the issues are out. It's great. The new run on Power Rangers has actually been really good. There's some good indie stuff out there right now.
IDW,
pick some up.
Image, Independence, they are absolutely beating the
Antarctic Press.
Out of
Antarctic
the,
Press puts out
of the top two. Kind of steer clear from DC and Marvel for a bit. You've got some really good written stories out there.
Yeah, they really are. So go. And again, if you want to get a hold of us, I don't know why you would. It's vagabondnerds@gmail.com.
I think we're good, gents, and everyone, till we meet again.
Yeah, see y'all in a couple of weeks.
Be nice to each other.